Hey guys, today we're gonna change my scope rings on my AR10. This is in 6.5 Creedmoor. These rings doesn't take me out to 1,000 yards. It only takes me to about 900, a little over 900 yards, and I just don't have enough elevation to get out to 1,000. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change out those scope rings with my Lacus that I had lying around. This is a 20 MOA scope mount, and it should give me enough elevation to at least get to 1,000 yards. So I had this guy already lying around. I had it on my other rifle, but when I bought a new chassis for my other rifle, the chassis already had a 20 MOA mount already on it. So the optic that I have this on, the optic is a Vector Optics, and this is the TAURUS 5x30x56. Those are the specs. I'm not gonna do an unboxing because I'll just put a link to the reviews of this scope. It's actually a really good scope. I got a deal on this. I got it for $233 from eBay. A guy offered me that as a price for brand new, and I bought it. So, and I really like the scope. So all right, so let's get ahead and take this scope off. What I need for this guy is, looks like a TAURUS T15. Then these take some 1/2-inch socket to remove the bottom half of the scope mount. Okay, and when I mount this guy, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mount it as far back as I can, because I had this on an AR10, and because you got this adjustable length of pull, then you know I can pretty much put it anywhere. But I like it closer to the back. In fact, I don't like any of these locking nuts to be around this area, because when it starts ejecting brass, I just don't want it to hit it. I guess I can. I think this is far back. It's good. And I always push my mounts forward before I lock them down. And these guys, I just lock them down till about 30 foot-pounds. So right now it's 20. I'll do 25. And then I'll finish at 30. Alright. And I just use this TAURUS wrench, adjustable torque screwdriver wrench. Goes up to 70 inch-pounds. Okay, so you take this top off, the tops of the rings. Okay, good. So what I do is I'll put this on here loosely initially, and then after that we'll go ahead and make it all level. So I can still move it around back and forth. So the next step is to find your eye relief and what works good. And for me, I know that my length of pull is 14.5 inches. Is what my measurement is for length of pull. So I measure out to 14.5 inches. Oops. Which is right there. And to find out your length of pull, all you gotta do is put your rifle, put the butt of your rifle in your elbow, hold it up, and you should have a comfortable feel of the trigger. So with your buttstock in your elbow, you should feel this trigger and it should feel comfortable for you. And that's how you figure out your length of pull. Okay, so the next step is, what I have to do is I'm gonna rifle or shoulder this rifle and look through the scope. So, and I'm gonna open and close my eyes, and I'm gonna look through here and open and close my eyes. And what I should see when I open and close my eyes is a clear line of sight. It should be clear when I open and, so once I put my cheek on here and I look through here, it should be clear. You shouldn't have to try and find a clear spot through the rifle. It just should be nice and clear. So now that I shouldered my rifle, I can look through the scope clearly. My cheek is in a natural position. I can open and close my eyes and look through the scope clearly. The next thing we need to do is lock everything down. So what we have to do first is kind of level the rifle. So I have this little stand here, and I'm going to see if it's level. Okay. It is. So it is pretty good. Yeah, that's actually level. All right, great. So we can go on this side, check the ball. So it needs to look very close because this scope mount has a little bit of a cant forward. It's just a little bit tilted forward, just a hair, and it's just a hair tilting forward. That's because of the way the mount is made. This one is perfectly straight with just a little forward, and that's to account for the tilt in the mount. Okay, so that looks good. The next thing we have to do is turn this to levels, and these levels I got from, it was online. It was like less than $10. Scope levels, 2-piece scope level. So I can see that this bubble is way off. So I'm gonna, since my bipod has a cant to it, I can turn it a little bit. Alright, so that's level. This is not level. So now I need to make this bubble the same as that one, and all I have to do is turn this guy. Okay, that's in the middle. Perfect. Perfect. So now that everything is lined up, I can start tightening things down. So I'm just gonna try and keep these gaps the same on each side. So, and just hand tightening it until it's just a little snug, and watch the bubble so that it doesn't move. Okay, so my bubble did move a hair, so I'm gonna see if I can turn it. There we go. That's good. Still looks good over there. Yep. And then I can check these. Yep. Alright. Alright, I think it's set. Okay, now that it's set, the last thing we gotta do is torque them. So this one, I believe it said 18 foot-pounds, and I do most of my scopes at that. 18, I'm sorry, not foot-pound, inch-pounds. 18 inch-pound is what I normally use for scopes. So right now mine is at 30. I'm gonna turn it down to 15 first. Okay, so everything looks good. Let's start cinching things now, and I just do a crisscross pattern slowly. Go. Go. Okay, now it's locked, torque to 15. Do the same on this side. Alright, so that's 15. I'm going to change this to 18 and we should be good. Okay. I don't use blue Loctite. I haven't had any come off or gotten loosened when it's torqued to 18, so I think we should be good. Alright. Well, that's it, guys. That was pretty easy. Nice and easy. At least everything is set up. It looks good. The last thing I gotta do is bore sight it. And what I have behind me, I have a fence in my backyard that's 10 yards away. And all I do is I take a bore laser sighter, and I take this laser sighter, has this laser right here. I put this one in my barrel, and but before I put it in the barrel, I have to measure my barrel, the middle of my barrel to the middle of my scope, and that measured, it doesn't have to be exact, but pretty close, but not exact. So this one is about 2.5 inches from the center of the scope to the center of my barrel. It's about 2.5 inches. And what I have on my fence is a, let me pause here and then let me show you what I mean. So I have a fence 10 yards from me, and I have 2 dots on that fence, and it measures, I'm trying to show it to you guys, it measures 2.5 inches. So This is about 2.5 inches. And what I do is I put this laser in my barrel, and that laser goes to the bottom dot, and my reticle, my crosshairs goes to the top dot. And I just make sure my reticle is not to the left or not to the right. I just dial my turrets to the center of the top dot. If it's too high or too low, I just dial the turrets till it's center of the top dot. This is just for the reticle. The laser stays here. And what happens is when you're at 100 yards, everything will stay straight. At 100 yards, everything will stay straight when you look through the scope and you fire a shot. If I was to zero at 10 yards, the red dot here, and my reticle is up here, and I zero my reticle down here, what's going to happen at 100 yards? The farther you go out, the more your scope starts to look down. So at 100 yards, you might not even be on paper. And guys, this is only to just get on paper. That's all this is. Once you get at 100, then you can zero your scope. So that's the way I do it. It always seems to work. I've always been on paper, and with this 20 MOA cantilever mount, I'll be able to go a little over 1200 yards, which is what I wanted. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you later. Aloha.